Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome to a brand new week and welcome to a brand new edition of what we like to call the Clash of Champions, where we talk about the different news, controversies, and storylines that shape this world we know and love as professional wrestling. I'm your host, the vegan you believe in, Conscious Kurt, aka the Professor, because I'm one smart motherfucker in the flesh as always, and he is.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is his tag team partner, Jonathan Randall, the adventurer, life of the party, and welcome to our soap opera that we like to get deep down into the professional wrestling, ladies and gentlemen. I know it's been a while, but Kurt, how you been? I know you've been happy about your New York Knicks. We had an exciting Backlash. Today is our recap episode from Backlash from Lyon, France, ladies and gentlemen, and we're gonna get down to it.
Yes, but tying into your point, I am excited about my Knicks who are up 2-0 against the Pacers right now. And
Man,
also I am happy that Kendrick Lamar is tearing Drake a new asshole in that battle they have going on right now, or
dude,
did
this is
have going
crazy.
on.
Dude, so much has been going on over the past, few days. We had Backlash, the beef between Drake and Kendrick Lamar, the New York Knicks, all of New York is just in sports right now. Is just man, it's so great right now, man. You got the Rangers doing well, Knicks are doing well. That magic in Madison Square Garden is there, man. Like I'm hoping for you guys to make the finals, man. I'll love to see that. You know what I mean? And also, how can we not forget about the? I was just watching the roast of Tom Brady on Netflix with my girlfriend just earlier. It was hilarious, absolutely hilarious on Netflix, man. Now, if you guys haven't watched it, I'm quite sure maybe you have, but if you haven't watched it, check it out. It's hilarious.
I haven't had the chance to check it out yet, but the one thing I did hear about is that Kim Kardashian got heavily booed during her appearance, but she handled it well though.
Oh,
Despite that, she did handle it well.
right.
I probably would have booed her too. All right, but that's another
Oh man.
story. But tying back into the Knicks and the Rangers, it's funny. In 1994, it was kind of the same vibe where they were both doing well and they were both contenders for their respective
Yeah.
titles. But hopefully this year, maybe both of them can win.
Hey, I would. You know what? I feel like it's 1994 again. I feel like it's 1994, and
Only thing is, this year they didn't have WrestleMania at the Garden.
I know, but we did had a great ending at WrestleMania. But like, it is kind of like nostalgic of '94 all over again because yes, the Rangers and Knicks are in the playoffs. They're trying to make a run for a championship. The Rangers haven't won the cup in 30 years. The Rangers haven't been to the finals in 30 years, so I'd love to see that. And I'll be disappointed if the Knicks don't make it, man. Like, look, we all know it's going to be Knicks versus Celtics in the conference final. We know that for sure.
Fingers
But
crossed. We still got
I,
to get through Indiana first. We still got to get through Indiana.
I know.
Series isn't over yet.
I, Giving Reggie Miller hell on during game two is hilarious.
Yeah, I think one of the dudes from the Knicks was like taking Reggie Miller's like headphones off and like telling him like, "Yo, I think they're saying fuck you." They don't forget, buddy. They don't forget.
Oh no, of course not. How you can forget about something like that?
I'd be more upset about 95 than 94 because 94 they still won that series.
Right. Do you have a Knicks jersey or used to have one?
I have a Stoudemire jersey. Yes, I do. I have a Stoudemire jersey. It doesn't really fit me anymore, but I do have one.
Okay, I see what you mean. Got you.
Yeah, I'm just kind of disappointed that the Golden Knights got eliminated.
I mean, look, it's funny that you mentioned reference Vegas because we will talk about Vegas in a little bit
Yeah, I can wait.
when it comes to wrestling. But yeah, it. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, my own hockey team got eliminated too, but at the same time, how the way I see it is that, listen, the Golden Knights they did win the Stanley Cup last year, and that was that was very like just a very heartfelt, very good, great moment for the city of Las Vegas. I think that would be like the greatest sports moment of all time. Watching the Golden Knights win the Stanley Cup. But hey, man, it is what it is. It went 7 games, and they were playing against a very good Dallas Stars team that is currently the number one seed in the Western Conference. But at the same time, I mean, hey, it happens, and keep your head up, move forward. The good thing you could say is that hey, at least we did win a Stanley Cup. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, definitely. Nobody could ever take that away from you guys.
Right.
But yes, I'm happy to see my Knicks killing it right now. They're giving me fucking gray hairs like a motherfucker, but it's all good. We're all gonna get older at some point.
Man, it's just so good to see like playoff basketball in Madison Square Garden, man. Because like, look, the New York Knicks is like the cornerstone franchises of the NBA, and if they're not, look, I get it. Like Lakers are doing good. If the Lakers, teams like Lakers, Celtics, you know, Bulls, if they're doing good, then hey, that's good for the league. It's good for for the television. But the Knicks is a part of that too because it's the New York Knicks. It's Madison Square Garden. It's New York City. So to see them do well, see playoff basketball in the Garden, that's just magic. You know what I mean? I'm happy to see that, and you need that. The league needs that. You know what I mean? The Knicks really haven't had much success in the past years. Yeah, they had some playoff appearances here and there, but this one hits different.
Yeah, in recent memory, like over the last like 20 years or so since Patrick Ewing left, the best they were in that time frame was I would say like about a decade ago when Carmelo Anthony was on the team. There was one year, 2013, it was where like Carmelo Anthony won the scoring title. They were number 2 in the East, but that year they did lose in the second round to none other than the Pacers.
Right, man.
Yeah, that Pacers team was good. I'm not gonna lie. That Pacers team from
Right,
like 2013, 2014, they were beastly.
right. Hmm.
But yes, it is great to see the Knicks like doing as well as they have been doing, and Jalen Brunson going off, like setting all these kind of Knicks records and just beasting out the way he's been beasting out. I just hope that he stays healthy throughout this series and going forward too, because yesterday he was out for half the game. But luckily he made it back in time to help him win, and I just want to see that momentum continue to go on.
We'll see that, man. We'll see. I hope, like I said, man. I'm predicting a, fingers crossed if it happens. I'm predicting a New York Knicks Minnesota Timberwolves finals.
Yeah, because despite the fact that Denver won the title last year and Joker just won his third MVP this year, they are down 0-2 against the Timberwolves and have to play the next 2 games in Minnesota. So, yes, it is not looking good for them.
And as a Laker fan, I'm going to tell you this: I'm enjoying every moment of this series. I am glad that the Nuggets are down 2-0 against the T-Wolves. Just Anthony Edwards has just he's been exploding on the Denver Nuggets right now, and I'm happy to see that, man. And just painful that my Lakers got to get eliminated, but it makes me happy that the Timberwolves are just laying a hammer on them right now. I hope they just keep that momentum right now. There's just too much for Denver right now. They are, and it's kind of funny how the coach for the Denver Nuggets, he's he over here yelling at the ref, and Jamal Murray throwing his heating pad onto the court. It's kind of funny how like you want to be everything's all good when you're high and mighty, but then when things are not going your way, you kind of want to act a fool, and it's embarrassing, man. But I hope they get eliminated.
Yeah, a lot of people kind of said the same thing about Kevin Durant being one example, and also Ronda Rousey, how when everything is going well, when everybody's singing their praises, everything is all great. But when people criticize them, when people call them out when they have a bad game or a bad fight in Ronda Rousey's case, then it's a big problem and they get all defensive, they get all fragile, and they just, have a meltdown.
Right.
Yeah, I saw this one post that was pretty funny about that where it said that now wrestling fans understand why UFC fans hated Ronda so much.
Mm. We've been talking about this momentum and all that stuff, but oh man, the one thing, the biggest momentum going on right now is wrestling, and that's in the WWE. And that momentum was in France. Actually, it was pretty much touring throughout Italy.
But
Throughout Europe. I'm sorry, excuse me, throughout Europe, and then on their way for final destination for France, and that was for Backlash France in Lyon, France, which took place this past Saturday. And boy, what an event it was! I know that the outcomes wasn't surprising as we knew, but at the same time, what was surprising was the crowd.
yes, and I remember saying on last week's episode that the crowd for Backlash in France had a hard act to follow from that crowd from Puerto Rico last year, but they put my doubts to rest within 1 minute. Bro, that is one of the
Literally,
craziest crowds I have ever seen for any wrestling show. Hell, not even just wrestling show, but any show, period. Wrestling show, basketball game, football game, concert, you name it. That is one of the craziest, loudest fucking crowds I have ever heard in my life. But I love it.
And the thing is, the crazy thing about that, man, was that they were able to like keep that energy throughout the whole show, pretty much throughout almost 3 hours.
Bro, that crowd put all of the crowds in the States to shame. Even Chicago. As great as Chicago is, they even put Chicago to shame.
I know, and look, that was the whole talk about that whole event was the crowd on how like it's kind of they put us American crowds to shame how like we're not up to their tempo like how they are in Europe. You know what I mean? And it's crazy, man. Like I wasn't expecting that the whole night, the whole entire night, every match.
Yeah, that crowd was ridiculous, but damn, did they make that show great. The show was still good on its own, but they took that show from a good show to a great show.
Very great show, and and they have every right to cheer and be energetic because we were treated with a great first match, and that first match was a tag team match between the Bloodline, the team of Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, versus Kevin Owens and Randy Orton.
And even before the match started, the great thing about it was how the crowd sang like Randy Orton's theme song from start to finish. They did the same thing on
Yeah,
SmackDown the night before. Yo, that was great.
right.
Randy Orton even said himself, like, he was like comparing the crowds in America to that crowd in France. And he said, put it this way, I've never once in my whole career had the crowd sing my entire song before.
Right.
Shit was
That is
nuts, man.
crazy. I read about that.
That shit was nuts, man, but I loved it. It was fucking incredible.
I
I wish I
bet.
could have been there to sing it too.
I bet. So that match started off with a tag team match, and it started off pretty hectic, man. They went at it, and to the point where security had to get involved and just break them up. It looked like we was gonna have a match at first.
Come on now. You already know we were going to have a match.
Oh no, I know, but like just how the way it went down, it didn't. But then out came SmackDown general manager Nick Aldis, and he turned the match into a street fight, a tag team street fight. And I have to say, honestly, this had to be my favorite match of the night.
Interesting. Yes, this match was fun. They fought into the crowd. They fought throughout the whole arena. But eventually he did come back into the ring, including one spot where Randy Orton hit Solo with the RKO on the table. Table didn't break, but he still hit him on the table with it
I
regardless.
liked it.
And I loved how Kevin Owens did that suplex from the top rope to Tama Tonga on the chairs, that crazy ass like reverted suplex. Yo, that was nasty, man. That was nasty.
Crazy, crazy, crazy.
And as it's looking like Kevin Owens is about to get the pin, somebody pulls the referee out of the ring before he could count to three. And that person who pulled him out of the ring turned out to be none other than Tama Tonga's brother, Haku's other son, Tonga Loa, making his first appearance in
Man.
WWE in over 10 years. And then he went on to hit both Randy Orton and Kevin Owens with the steel steps. And that would allow Solo Sikoa to hit Kevin Owens with the Samoan spike, get the win for him and Tama Tonga. And now we have a new member of this new version of the Bloodline. And yes, they are only getting stronger.
Only getting stronger, man. And boy, this. I mean, I picked them to win. I think we both picked them to win, didn't we?
Yeah, of course, goes without saying. Yeah, they just debuted.
Yeah.
They just formed this new bloodline. They're brand new. They're not gonna have their first pay-per-view
Yeah.
match be a loss.
No, no, you couldn't do that. You have to ride with that momentum.
This isn't Jeff Hardy and Karrion Kross from 3 years ago.
No, hell no. But yeah, man, I love the match. I just went back and forth and just the spots that they did, and we got that the crazy, shocking ending to the match. It was a good way to end the match, but also a good way to continue the storyline for this new version of the Bloodline.
Yes, it was great. Definitely delivered and accomplished what it needed to. But yes,
Yeah.
hats off to all men involved. But let's move on to our next match. We had a triple threat for the women's championship, which included the champion Bayley defending against Naomi and Tiffany Stratton.
This was another good match, actually.
And I would also say if there was one match the crowd really stood out for, it was this match.
Yeah, I
Holy
agree.
I don't know what they were chanting. They were chanting something that sounded like soccer mother. That's kind of the vibe I was getting from what they were chanting. But
Something in French, honestly, just something in
soccer
French. But
mother. It sounded like that. Soccer mother. Yeah, it sounded
yeah,
like that. But yeah, they were chanting that shit like the whole match. It got a little repetitive at times, but yo, I will never knock these people's enthusiasm.
no, true. It did. I mean, don't get me wrong. It did get a little repetitive at times, but at the same time, you have to enjoy. Just got to enjoy their energy, man. And again, the crowd really plays a big part in a wrestling event, any wrestling event that you see. They really play a big part in it. That's why WrestleMania 22 is my all-time favorite WrestleMania, because of the crowd. So with that being said, yeah, I mean, the crowd really just showed out for. I really saw the difference. They really just showed more energy, showed out for that match in particular. But it was a great match. I loved I loved it. I really didn't expect a whole lot of that match going in, but when I watched it, I was like, okay, this over exceeded my expectations, honestly.
Nah, I thought it was going to be good. And yes, I thought it was good overall. I'm not going to say it was my favorite match in the whole show, but I still did think it was good. And ultimately, just like I predicted, Bayley did retain by pinning Naomi with a roll up out of nowhere. I kind of didn't see that finish coming, to be honest with you, but it still worked. And Bayley ultimately retained the title. And Naomi shook her hand, gave her a hug, and raised her hand afterwards.
Yeah, I like that sign of respect. Moving forward, I do believe that, because you got to remember, Tiffany Stratton had came back and kind of reappeared, putting herself into this matchup. I believe that there's going to be a continued feud between Bayley and Tiffany Stratton down the road.
Yes, I do believe there's going to be a feud between the two of them that's going to go on for the next few months. And also, I wouldn't be surprised if Bayley and Bianca end up feuding again, because if you watch SmackDown last Friday, they were like in a 8-woman tag, and there was like a lot of tension between the two of them throughout it. And even after the match, after they won backstage, there was still some tension you could see between the two of them. So that is something I would keep my eye on for the next few months too.
Okay, well, you heard it from the professor himself, ladies and gentlemen, from Kurt. So keep your eyes on that. I definitely will be keeping my eyes on that feud moving forward. And speaking of moving forward, we're moving forward to the next match, and that was for the World Heavyweight Championship between Damian Priest and Jey Uso. Man, can we talk about Jey Uso's entrance?
Before we talk about his entrance, before the match, you could see Jey Uso backstage, but as he's backstage waiting to go out for his match, he is confronted by the new members of the Bloodline, Solo, Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, and the last person to look at him is Paul Heyman, and Paul Heyman just gives him that look saying, help me, please. And then they all just walk away.
Wow.
I would keep an eye on that. I think that's going to be going somewhere in the next few months.
Boy, I believe it. Are you like? Is it a bit surprising that this whole Bloodline storyline has really just continued, like, so far, man? Longer than I expected.
Yeah, it has gone on kind of long. It's been like, what, 3.5 years or so. But it's still pretty interesting, especially with this new twist to it.
Yeah,
And the new members they're adding. It's not like the NWO like in 98 and 99 when they were stretched on too long and everybody and their mother was a member. Even the janitor was
right.
The janitor was a member of the NWO. The dude who sells popcorn at the concession stand was a member of the NWO. The valet parking people were members of the NWO. Yeah, you name it.
Oh man, yeah, I know, but it's just I wasn't expecting this storyline to continue. That's the surprising part. But yeah, you're all right. It is interesting and it's picking up, and I love it. So
yeah, it's going to be even more interesting when Roman gets back, whenever that is.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But yes, and then Jey Uso had his entrance for the match with Damian Priest. And yes, one of the highlights of the whole show was Jey Uso's entrance. Yo, this shit was insane, bro. With the lights out, him coming through the crowd, and then him doing the hands up and down on the second rope, and then everybody's doing it with him with their phones going up and down. It gave me a lot of vibes of like Bray Wyatt's entrance from back in the day.
I feel you. Love the entrance though.
Yeah, just watching that as it was going on, you're like, damn, I don't care what happens during the whole match. This shit is the highlight of all of it.
I bet.
And we have the match. I thought the match was good. I don't think it was the best match on the show, but I thought it was still good.
Yep.
But the main story of this was the interference from the members of Judgment Day, as JD McDonough did get involved at one point in the match, and Damian Priest was not happy about this, and he let his feelings show, where he kept telling JD McDonough, like, yo, what are you doing here? What the fuck are you doing getting involved in this? This isn't any of your business. And then there was one point where Finn Balor also got involved, and Jey Uso made waste of him and got rid of him. But at one point, Jey Uso did hit Damian Priest with the Uso splash from the top rope. But as he was about to pin him, JD McDonough put Damian Priest's foot on the ropes. So while Damian Priest was initially pissed off that JD McDonough interfered, JD McDonough saved his title in that one spot.
Hey man, you have to give the devil its due. What you're saying is true. Despite what happened earlier, he did help him win the title. Retain the title. I'm sorry.
Yes, that was definitely the move that saved his ass. But ultimately, Damian Priest did retain by hitting Jey Uso with the South of Heaven chokeslam and got the pin, retained the title. No surprise. After the match is over, Finn Balor and JD McDonough continue to attack Jey Uso. But to all of our surprise, Damian Priest put a stop to the attack. He told both of them to stop, knock it off. He's had enough. And the crowd cheered when he did that. The crowd cheered when he told them both to stop.
Man, I'm telling you right now, man. I think with Rhea Ripley gone, I don't know if I said this earlier in our previous episodes, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm kind of predicting that Damian Priest is going to turn babyface pretty soon.
It could happen. It could happen. But yes, Damian Priest did retain. Jey Uso didn't lose anything from this. We weren't expecting him to win this match. He's still one of the hottest acts in the company. He still has a great entrance, especially from what we saw on Saturday. Yeah, a lot of people are starting to knock Jey Uso's moveset. That's like the main criticism he's getting.
His movesets.
Yeah, like the spear, the super kicks, the over-reliance, I guess, on the super kicks. I think he does fine. I think his moveset is fine for what it is. I don't think there's like that much of a reason to criticize it.
No, there's no need to.
I think the spear, personally, people rely on too much. I see too many damn people do it, so it doesn't really feel special. I get that part of it. But overall, I think he still holds his own in his matches.
Yeah. Again, at the end of the day, he still has that it factor, that connection with the crowd. That really makes the bigger part of the story. So I would love, later down the road, I would love for him to finally win a singles title, Intercontinental title, hopefully. So fingers crossed.
Well, he could be winning one kind of title, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. But yes, he definitely did look good with a belt at some point, like a singles title. But, bro, he has that entrance. He has the crowd behind him. He has the whole yeet thing that is super marketable. He has the glasses to match it, too. Yo, I'm telling you, Jey Uso was straight up giving me vibes of like Bret Hart before like he really became the main guy. Yeah, like 91 Bret Hart is exactly what Jey Uso's reminding me of right now.
I see.
All right, but let's move on to our next match. For the women's tag team titles, we had the Kabuki Warriors of Asuka and Kairi Sane defending the titles against the female version of the Mega Powers, Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. Omega, yeah, the Mega, yeah, the Mega, yeah, the Mega Powers, yeah.
This match was okay for what it was, but it was all about, hey, let's put Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair together as a tag team, see how well it works, put the belts on them. This is to shine that spotlight more on Jade Cargill. And they did a good job with it. I thought the match was pretty good for what it was.
Yeah, the match was fine, but there was one spot in the middle of it where like Kairi Sane tried to do a move to Jade Cargill, but it didn't go the way it was supposed to. And then Kairi was about to pin her, and then the referee said she wasn't the legal woman in the match. But then even with that, she still stayed in the match and didn't have Asuka get back in. So there was that few minute period where like the match didn't really feel like it was flowing right. But then they picked it up more towards the end, especially with that reversal that Jade Cargill did to Kairi that turned into the Jaded. Yo, that was mad dope. That's probably the most impressive thing she's done in the ring since she's debuted for them, honestly.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a really nice reversal. Yeah, she did well with that spot. And then Bianca hit Asuka with the KOD got the pin, and Jade Cargill and Bianca, to no surprise, are the new women's tag team champions.
Unbelievable. And good job for them, for the both of them. So
Yeah, I like the vibe they have together. I like their matching outfits. I like how they play off of each other. I'm liking the team so far. I know it's not going to last. I know their breakup is inevitable, but for the time being, I'm enjoying it.
I'm enjoying it too, and I'm glad that Jade Cargill is getting that experience and getting that spotlight on her, man. So I'm enjoying it for what it is right now. Let's enjoy it, but a breakup is happening right now. So
Yeah,
as of right now, I'm just gonna enjoy it.
yeah. When I see them team up and when I see them like hugging each other and like celebrating with each other after a win, I like it. But I just say to myself, yeah, this is the footage they're going to be using in that promo package when they break up, when they fight at WrestleMania next
Right.
year. This is all the footage they're going to be using.
Oh man.
Oh, but now Bianca's a Triple Crown champion.
Wow.
Raw women's title, SmackDown women's title, the new women's title they debuted like after last Asuka won it, and now the tag titles.
Nice.
And also now her beef and her issues with Damage Control are officially over because Damage Control is now on Raw and the two of them are on SmackDown. So it's a wrap.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why we picked Jake Cargill and Bianca Belair to win that match in the first place.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I like the fact that Bianca actually flew out her parents for the show, too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, she put up a post on Instagram saying like she never thought in her wildest dreams she would like have a match in France and actually fly her parents out to France to come watch the match. Mm-hmm. So yeah, she's come a long way, my dude. Yeah, she's definitely one of those superstars that stands out.
That's good.
And has been standing out for years.
Nice.
Yeah, so Jade and Bianca are the new women's tag team champions, and like the Fab mixtape, when it comes to the two of them, there is no competition.
Absolutely not. And then now to our main event, the final match of the night was for the newly named the undisputed WWE Championship. It is no longer a Universal Championship, thank God. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, that was between Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles. And was digging AJ Styles' uniform. Everybody was making a reference. It looked like Undertaker's attire from the mid 90s, like 96, like 94 through 96. The whole purple and black.
Yeah, that's the vibe it was giving me. Yeah, it was dope.
Man, if only if only if there was no COVID 4 years ago, right? Because Taker and AJ Styles would have been a regular wrestling match. I guarantee you AJ Styles would have wore that same attire or the color scheme.
It's possible he could have, but yes. But one thing that stood out even before the match started was Cody Rhodes' entrance and the fact that the audience sang the whole damn song of Kingdom from start to finish.
Wow.
Yeah, even after it stopped playing, they were singing the whole thing. Yo, that shit was great.
That was great to see, man. That's one thing. I mean, look, his entrance hits every time. It hits every time, but this one in particular hit very different. Man.
Yeah, and also another note for this match. This match marked the first time a woman would main event a WWE title pay-per-view main events. That being Jessica Carr.
Yeah, good for her.
Yo, yeah, good shit. That's crazy. That never happened before. There's never been a woman that's refereed a WWE title match that was the main event of a pay-per-view. Yo, she's doing big things.
And the backstory behind that, her and Cody Rhodes were close friends years ago.
Oh, that's what's up. Yeah, I saw that picture from like 2009. Yeah, I saw that pic.
Yeah.
I like that we have more women referees now, like more women in like different roles that
same here.
Been in those roles before.
Same. I love it.
Yeah, so Cody and AJ have their match. It was a good-ass match. I wasn't expecting any less from these two. Went about 30 minutes. I would say it was probably the longest match in the whole show. And yeah, they had some good spots. They had some good spots, including that one spot when Cody powerbombed AJ through the announce table. Holy shit. But despite how great the match was and despite how great AJ's performance was, The match would ultimately end after Cody hit AJ with a Cody cutter from the top rope, not the second rope, the top rope, and he would lay him out with the crossroads, only one crossroads, not three like he usually does, getting the pin and retaining his championship in his first major title defense. No surprise, Cody retains the title, looks strong in the process, and everybody goes home happy.
That's right. All of Europe goes home happy, man. And again, I can't get over the crowd, man. And
Yeah,
us Americans and everybody in America, guys, step it up, please. A little bit, step it up, man.
no wonder why other countries hate us so much. Yeah, but the crowd was really great for the triple threat women's title match and also for this match. This match they were also lit as fuck.
Man, I wonder where they're gonna have Backlash at next year.
It's a good question.
Yeah, just lately with the WWE having more and more international premium live events every year. I'm telling you, man, the crowd has been showing out.
Oh yeah,
You go back to last year, you go back to Money in the Bank, which was in London. The crowd was energetic for that. Backlash was in Puerto Rico. The crowd was energetic for that. How could we not forget that? And you look at what just happened this past Saturday in Lyon, France. It's just absolutely amazing, man.
and also in addition to how hot the crowd was, this was the highest grossing
Yeah,
arena show in WWE history.
that was announced earlier that night. Good job.
Yeah, great job. Like I said, I wasn't sure what to expect from this crowd going into the show, but yo, they
Yeah.
definitely won me over big time. I thought the Montreal crowds were good because Montreal has like a heavy French population, but
Yes.
oh,
Yes.
they
Yes.
topped them. Yeah, they definitely topped them.
I think outside when it comes internationally, I think outside of Europe, Canada has always been a very hot spot for wrestling. Their crowds has always been energetic, so that is not a surprise to me. So I just loved how the business is really growing. It's been catching fire for a while, and that momentum is riding right now. And I believe that same day, so that's Saturday, that same day, with that momentum, we've finally heard the announcement of the location for WrestleMania 41 in 2025. And ladies and gentlemen, April 19th, April 20th, WrestleMania 41, for the first time since 1993, WrestleMania will be headlined in Sin City, Las Vegas, Nevada, ladies and gentlemen, the current city where I lived at, where Kurt used to live at. Man, I'm so hyped up for this, man. It was the right decision to make. The right decision. The right place and the right time.
Yeah, it was a no-brainer. Vegas is one of the hottest cities in the country. They haven't been to Vegas for a WrestleMania in over 30 years, and now Vegas has a stadium where they can host WrestleMania. So yeah, it was the perfect place for them to go. I love the logo. I saw the logo right when they posted it. It looks mad.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
It is
Loved it.
it is a little weird that they're having it that late in April because they've never had it that late in April before, but I'm all for it.
True. I can't wait for it, man. Like I said, it was a no-brainer. Vegas just hosted their very first Super Bowl here for the very first time. And the hype and just the energy of the city, just hyping up for the big game. It's no brainer. You need to bring, your biggest wrestling event here to Vegas. And look, I'm not taking anything away from Minnesota, from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Okay. I believe that they're going to get WrestleMania 2026. Okay. I believe that. But as of right now, you have to put it in Vegas, man. Like, you just had the Super Bowl here. UFC's big, always been big in this city. They just built the Sphere and all that, and the Golden Knights, and it's just so crazy how this city is growing and it's expanding, man. And I've been living here for 16 years, and I'm just really proud that my city is really it's doing it big, man. That's all I gotta say. You know what I mean? And speaking of WrestleMania coming here now, that your biggest event is going to come here next year. This is the perfect opportunity to have SmackDown and Raw at the Sphere.
Yeah, they could do that.
They should do it because they're gonna have a UFC event there later this year. I think September or November, if I believe. But yeah, they're gonna have a UFC event over there. Imagine hosting a WWE event there. It's a perfect place.
Yeah, but I will say it's going to be very strange to have a WrestleMania on a holiday. That holiday being 420, and also Easter, too.
Oh my god, it's funny because I'm my friend mentioned
And a
my
city where it's legal. In a city where it's legal too.
right. My friend joked about that. Amadio from Virginia, my best friend from since middle school. Yeah, he brought that up, and
Yeah,
yeah, that's pretty funny though. But yeah, I'm excited, man.
Snoop Dogg's definitely going to be there next year.
And Godfather,
Oh yeah, he lives there. Goes without saying. And RVD
right,
and Willie Nelson
right,
and Willie Nelson.
man. I'm already like I'm not trying to jump ahead. I'm kind of like a part of me is like, man, hurry up and get through this year so we get the Mania next year. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna be patient about it. I'm excited. Already, reserved to be notified when the tickets go on sale. And Kurt, you better start making the plans right now, man. I know the rest of my friends are, my brothers are, and you got to make this a whole shindig, man, so we could get this thing rolling. So for next year,
Yeah, definitely, man. I had not been back to Vegas since I left.
wow,
I think more than likely I'm going to come back even before WrestleMania next year. I don't think I can wait that long. But
right?
there's no way I'm missing WrestleMania in Vegas. There's no way I can miss
No,
that. I haven't been to a WrestleMania since 2017. I used to live in Vegas. I
wow,
lived there for 6 years. Parts of me kind of wish I was still there in some ways, but that's another story. So yeah, I'm
hmm
definitely going to be in Vegas for WrestleMania next year. It is going down.
it is definitely going down in Sin City, ladies and gentlemen, and it's just the perfect place, perfect setting to do it. You just had the Super Bowl here, man. And I just heard a report, a rumor yesterday that Detroit is trying to bid to get WrestleMania 33. No, I'm sorry, 43. Sorry, 33. Trying to get WrestleMania 43 at Ford Field, the same place where WrestleMania 23 was at.
And also where SummerSlam was last year.
Right. Because, ladies and gentlemen, 2027, the year 2027, will be the 20th anniversary for WrestleMania 23. My God, I can't believe it's about to be 20 years, right? But more importantly, it will be the 40th anniversary of WrestleMania 3, which was in Detroit. So that is absolutely perfect. I hope they could get it done. It just sounds perfect, man. Like, come on, book it. Put WrestleMania 43 in Detroit. Do it.
But since we are getting WrestleMania in Vegas next year, there is the dream match that has to happen. The dream
Ooh,
match.
tell us, Kurt.
After what happened the last time WrestleMania was in Vegas, it has to go down next year. Hulk Hogan versus
Oh
Bret
my
Hart.
God.
We never got it, bro.
Stop it.
Never got it.
Get
Never got it.
Stop it. You would have you gotta stop.
I just wishful thinking.
Oh man. If that happened, you would have lost it.
Yeah, I would only go there so I could boo Hogan out of the building or go boo him out of the stadium.
Oh Lord.
But yes, I am stoked that WrestleMania is coming to Vegas. It's definitely going to be different considering that they're doing it so late in April. But I can't think of a better place they could bring it to. Minnesota, no disrespect to them. I'm sure Minnesota is great in its own way. But realistically,
Don't
if
get
you had the choice to go to Minnesota or Las Vegas, which one would you pick?
Vegas, of course. But like I said, man, just like I said earlier, Minnesota could have their WrestleMania in 2026. They have a nice stadium. Minneapolis, Minnesota is a nice city, the Twin Cities. You know what I mean? So they had a Super Bowl there before, so they could have the WrestleMania in 2026. But like I said, man, it was the right place, right time to do it because of what's been going on in the city. The city is growing. UFC has been, look, let's go back even further. What was the sport that was pretty much dominating the city of Las Vegas? Boxing. Everybody came here for boxing.
Then UFC got high. And then the Golden Knights, like when they first debuted, went to the Stanley Cup Finals that year. Then hockey became a big deal. Now you guys have the football team.
And they're still trying to get an NBA. They're still trying to get an NBA team here.
Yeah, because I lived in Vegas for 6 years, and from the way Vegas was when I first got there to the way it was when I left, yeah, it definitely changed a lot. From a hockey team, a football team, the dispensaries, yeah, that place came up big time in the time I lived there.
Big when it came to the sports. And how could we forget about the UNLV college basketball team?
Yes, them too.
How could we forget about that?
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, when I go back to Vegas, I gotta visit UNLV just for one day.
I feel you.
Go back to Greenspan Hall for old time's sake.
Yeah. But man, I'm happy for Vegas, and I living here for 16 years. I've seen so many changes with the city, and I never, thought in my wildest dreams that all of this stuff was going to be happening. You know what I mean? I never thought to myself that Vegas was going to get a hockey team or, a football team will come here, even though it's just the Raiders, but still, it is a nice stadium. And because of that stadium, they're bringing so much, all the attention, they're bringing all these events to the city now, and it's just the perfect place to do it. It's the perfect timing. Same thing with the Super Bowl.
I have to ask you a personal question.
Yeah.
If they allowed you to get inside of WrestleMania for both nights for free, but the only condition would be that you would have to wear a Raiders jersey for both nights, would you do it?
No.
Damn. All free? Like even if they give you like a really good seat, you still wouldn't do it?
Nope.
Damn.
Can I ask you something?
The hate goes deep.
Can
Go ahead and ask me. Go ahead and ask me.
Oh my God. Okay. All right. Damn. Who do you hate more, the Miami Heat or the Indiana Pacers? In general.
I wouldn't say I necessarily hate either team, but
Not
I will say, in a way, I would say the Miami Heat because of their fans. Their fans are like the ones I'm really not that rub me the wrong way because their fans are very unloyal, very trendy, very bandwagonish. So yeah, I guess if I had to pick one, I would say the Heat.
You went to WrestleMania 28. This is in 2012. LeBron's in Miami.
Yeah, it's funny. When I went to that WrestleMania, I wore a Knicks jersey.
Right. If they gave you free tickets, right? A free ticket, but you had to wear a Heat jersey, would you have done it?
Fuck it. Why not? Fuck it.
Oh.
Bro, it's a free ticket. It's a free ticket. You could burn the jersey afterwards. All right, but that's another story. But yes, WrestleMania will be coming to Vegas next year, but that is still a long time away. We still have this year, 2024, to get through. And our next major event that is coming up in 2 weeks will be in Saudi Arabia, and that will be the King and Queen of the Ring.
Yes. And we already had our qualifying matches, and stars are moving forward deep into the brackets, and I can't wait for it.
Yes, we had our qualifying matches past Monday on Raw. We had Ricochet and Ilya Dragunov in an incredible match that ultimately saw Ilya Dragunov win. And, that dude is a beast. That dude is not to be fucked with. He's the same dude who dethroned Gunther for the UK title a couple years ago after Gunther had held it for like 2 years.
Holy crap. Heard a lot about that guy.
Yeah, he's great. Him and Ricochet had a great match on Raw Monday. Hate to see Ricochet lose again, but it is what it is. Ilya Dragunov advanced. And Jey Uso, substituting for an injured Drew McIntyre, defeated Finn Balor in the qualifying match also on Raw. So Ilya Dragunov will be facing Jey Uso in the next round. And that match should be very, very dope.
Very, very, very.
Also on Raw, we had a great match between Gunther and Sheamus in the main event that went over 20 minutes. But to no surprise, Gunther picked up the win and Gunther did advance. But I heard after the match was over, Sheamus did get a standing ovation afterwards.
That was a damn good match. I know that match was remembered for Gunther freaking chopping on the back of Sheamus' back.
Ooh.
Knife edge chop to the back. Jesus.
I know one person who would not have liked that match very much.
Who?
Bret Hart. Bret Hart was actually at the Clash of the Castle show 2 years ago with the Gunther and Sheamus match because it was the 30-year anniversary of SummerSlam 92 and all that. And afterwards, he actually did an interview and he actually criticized that match and especially Gunther, because of all of his chops and how he, resorts to the chops so much, yeah, he's not a fan of it.
Mm.
I mean, I get it. He's old school. I understand where he's coming from, but those matches are incredible. They're different. They're hard hitting. But just because he does a lot of chops, that doesn't make it not good.
Right.
But old school heads are going to be old school heads, whether you agree with them or not.
Hey man, we're old school heads when it comes to our hip hop. You know what I mean? So.
And this coming weekend at a house show, the last qualifying match for Raw will take place, as it will be Kofi Kingston against Rey Mysterio.
Wow.
Interesting they're doing the match on a house show, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
But for the SmackDown brackets, we have tomorrow night, it's going to be AJ Styles and Randy Orton. We're also going to have Baron Corbin and Carmelo Hayes, LA Knight and Santos Escobar. And originally it was supposed to be Tama Tonga against Bobby Lashley, but now Bobby Lashley is out with an injury, so he will be replaced by Angelo Dawkins.
Who do you see winning this year's King of the Ring?
I think it is between...
Gunther.
It's either Gunther, LA Knight, or who I mentioned a few minutes ago, who should get kind of a singles title, although to be close enough, Jey Uso. I think it's one of those three. Yeah, those are the three I see winning. Most likely Gunther, I could definitely see him winning it, but either LA Knight or Jey Uso could be a winner too.
I see.
And for the women's brackets, this past Monday on Raw, we had Io Sky and Natalya face each other for the very first time, believe it or not. Solid match, but ultimately Io Sky picked up the win. And in another qualifying match, we had Dakota Kai, who actually just celebrated her birthday the other day, take on Lyra Valkyria. And Lyra Valkyria ended up picking up the win. No surprise, she just debuted on Raw. And also, Zoe Stark defeated Ivy Nile to advance. So Lyra will be facing Zoe Stark in the next round. And Io Sky will face the winner of Shayna Baszler and Zelina Vega. And that match will also be taking place this weekend at a house show.
Who do you pick to be this year's Queen of the Ring? I'm trying to...
Well, let me break down some of the women's matches for SmackDown.
Yeah.
We have Bianca Belair taking on Candice LeRae. I think we know who's going to win that match. And the winner is going to face the winner of a match to be determined. We don't have the brackets for that specific part of it yet. And in other qualifying matches, we have Naomi taking on Nia Jax and Jade Cargill taking on Piper Niven. I think I know what the finals of the Women's King of the Ring tournament could potentially be.
Who do you think?
I think... For SmackDown, the person who's going to come out of SmackDown for the women is going to be Bianca Belair. And for Raw, the person who's going to come out of Raw is going to be Lyra Valkyria. I think she's going to come out of Raw.
Okay.
So, yes, those are the brackets for the men and the women's. We'll see how this turns out over the next 2 weeks. The finals for both men's and women's tournaments will be taking place in Saudi Arabia on May 25th. And I like the fact already that the Queen of the Ring tournament is already looking 10 times better than that Queen's Crown tournament was 3 years ago. Just that Io Sky and Natalya match alone on Raw was better than anything from that Queen's Crown tournament. Anything.
I see.
But also at the King and Queen of the Ring tournament show, we're going to have some other matches. And two of those matches that are going to be taking place will be Becky Lynch against Liv Morgan for the Women's World title. And also... Sami Zayn defending the Intercontinental title against Chad Gable and Bronson Reed in a triple threat match. That should be interesting. I don't know if Liv Morgan's going to beat Becky at this show, but I do think she will beat her at some point. It's funny, on Raw, they were in a segment together, and then Damage Control came out to try to attack both of them. But as Damage Control is about to get into the ring, Liv Morgan just dips and leaves Becky to fend for herself.
The hell?
And also Dominic, who's going to be out of action for the next few weeks. He's been in his arm brace, but he was still wearing the Judgment Day bandana. But as the show was going on, you couldn't see him with the bandana anymore. And then there was a picture of Liv Morgan from later on Raw where you could see the bandana in her pocket. Damn, bro. Fucking Dominic is pulling a Miles from Soul Food. It's not cool, bro.
No. Oh,
I know Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley aren't related, but still, it's not a good look.
It's not. I'm telling you, man. Rhea Ripley comes back, hell's gonna freeze over.
Oh, indeed it will, but that's still a long time away.
No.
What happens with that?
Right.
And it also came out this past week that Jerry Lawler is officially done with WWE.
Yeah, so no contract extension for Jerry Lawler, man. That's sad.
Well, he still has his Legends contract, so he'll probably still make appearances here and there. But as
Right.
far as like his broadcasting contract and his like major contract, they let it expire.
Mm,
I understand it. I mean, they barely use him anymore anyway.
right.
He hasn't done commentary in years. His commentary, in all honesty, hasn't been that great since like the late 2000s. So I can understand why they decided not to renew.
True, but
Also, he had that stroke last year, and he's barely really been around since then.
yeah. At least they still have a Legends contract for him. You know what I mean? He could still make appearance here and there. So it's really not like you're gone in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, with the exception of those few months that he left in 2001, he's been a part of the company since '92.
Yeah. Wow.
I remember he was a wrestler and also he was like a wrestler and a commentator at the same time. He would kind of like switch from both here and there. And then he had that great feud with Bret Hart that like stretched for like over 2 years. That shit was very entertaining. And I always liked him on commentary as a character, and especially on commentary, I always liked him, especially during the Attitude Era.
Oh my God! Like if I were to get into business and be a color commentator, color commentator, he is one of my people who I look up to. Who I want to be like him and Bobby Heenan because of their the fact that they're heel commentators, but they're funny at the same time.
They're
And you get to
hilarious.
say and do what do you want. That's it makes it interesting. You know what I mean? So I don't like having two babyface commentators. I don't.
Yeah, you need a bad guy commentator to spice it up a little bit.
Thank you. Go back and forth.
Yeah, and Lawler's commentary, especially in the Attitude Era, was legendary because of how much of a pervert he was in many ways. Like whenever any of the divas or the women would come out, he would lose his fucking mind.
Right.
You would like see him like sitting at the commentary table looking at like Sable's Playboy magazine, like and like when the women would be wrestling around and like rolling around on each other, he'd be like, kiss her right now, kiss her right now. Yeah, dude gave no fucks.
Man.
All right, but he'll be fine. He has plenty of money. He's a legend. He's been around forever. Him not getting his contract renewed by WWE is not the end of the world. He'll be okay.
True. That is true.
Yeah, but did you hear about that incident that Ric Flair got into at that pizza place the other night?
No.
Yeah, Ric Flair put up a tweet about it, talking about what happened, and the manager of the restaurant actually put up a tweet responding to him. This is what Ric Flair had to say. I spent $1,500 at Piasano's SFP to be disrespected more than I ever have been in my entire life. After taking 20 pictures with customers and staff, I was asked to leave because of an issue I had with the kitchen manager taking too long in the bathroom. I would highly recommend that anyone who wants to enjoy a relaxing time in Gainesville at a nice restaurant to never visit this place. Woo.
Gainesville, Florida?
I guess so. Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
And this is what the manager had to say responding to Ric Flair. I'm the manager of Piasano's SFP, sister location off Archer. Mr. Flair was being drunk and disorderly. He wooed directly into a blind grandmother's face. After being confronted, he picked up furniture and swung it menacingly. We love Rick, but he was boogered.
Damn.
And there was actually some footage that was released of the confrontation between him and the manager, and you could tell that Ric Flair was like super drunk, super belligerent. He was like trying to pick a fight with the manager. He was calling him a dipshit, asking him if he wanted to step outside and fight him. Yeah, he did not come off well. He did not come off well at all, man. No.
Man. You know what? We heard these problems from Flair before in the past, and guy it's not acting his age, man. Just I don't know. I don't know
Bro,
what else to say.
he's 75 years old. And like 7 years ago, he literally almost died because of this shit.
Right.
And he still acts like this. He still fucking acts like this. He's been retired for years. He's pretty much a senior citizen now. And he still behaves this way in public. Bro, knock it off. Knock it the fuck off already.
Man.
I've worked in restaurants for years. I've worked in restaurants for a long time, for better or worse. I come across people like this all the time, whether they're famous or not famous, who just get too drunk and then just make asses of themselves just in front of everybody. Just make a scene where everybody stares at them. Everybody's like kind of like making fun of them in some ways. And yeah, it's embarrassing, especially being him, being a celebrity and also being his age. Yeah, it's embarrassing.
Just acting like he's like younger, man. He's not. That's the sad part about it. Just act your age.
And even if you're young, to behave that way in a public place is embarrassing, let alone in front of
Right.
everybody.
True. That is true. 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 This is embarrassing. Just like don't.
If I were hanging out with Ric Flair and he behaved that way, I would just like keep. I would just be like putting my head down the whole time, saying like, "What the fuck did I get myself into?"
Oh no 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 no! I would no 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 no! I would have left.
I would walk out on a date if she acted that way. Like if I went out on a date with a girl and she was like giving the waiter a hard time and like just had a nasty attitude the whole time, I would walk out on her. Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's another story. But yeah, Ric Flair just needs to grow up, man.
Ooh.
Shit like that just does not make him look good. I don't care how famous he is. I don't care if he's been in rap videos. I don't care how legendary of a wrestler he is. Shit like that is just embarrassing.
Man.
I wonder what Charlotte thinks of this.
Oh, just obviously she's embarrassed. Obviously, man, who wouldn't?
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about this anymore. Yeah, Ric Flair, please grow up for your sake and for the sake of anybody who ever has to interact with you.
Right.
Yeah, but before we get out of here, let's get into some brief AEW news. We do have AEW Double or Nothing coming up in 2 weeks in Las Vegas on May 26th. Card shaping up to be pretty solid. Swerve Strickland's first challenger for the AEW Championship is actually going to be Christian Cage.
And there was a promo earlier today between Sir Strickland and Christian Cage, and boy, did it get heated.
Well, last night it was. Yeah, last night.
The last night, my bad. I thought, yeah, it was last night. Boy, it got heated because it's just so funny how the whole, just everybody just catching the attention of the Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef, man. And Swerve Strickland pretty much called Christian Cage out, telling him, why don't you come in his ring so I could beat your ass just like Kendrick did Drake. I was like, whoa, it's.
Yeah, but the line afterwards was even better where he was talking about, you're not the last deadbeat dad from Toronto I've ever come across.
Oh my God. Oh, man.
I heard Biden used euphoria as a part of his campaign ad against Trump.
You lie.
I heard about that. Yeah, I heard about that.
Wow. This is.
Biden, get your ass out of here. We know you're not down with the culture.
Oh, my God.
But yes, we do have Swerve and Christian Cage for the title at Double or Nothing. That should be dope. But the only thing is, as of right now, Swerve is not like really feeling like the main focus, because the main focus right now is the whole Elite storyline. Because like now that Tony Khan's out with the injuries because of the attack a few weeks ago, now the Young Bucks are running the show. They're kind of like the bad guy authority figures, like throwing their weight around and fucking with people. And even last week they attacked Kenny Omega.
Wow.
Yeah, Kenny Omega has been out for a few months with the diverticulitis stuff, and he's probably going to have surgery to fix it. So he's going to be out for a little longer. But as he was about to leave last week, they attacked him to kind of put more heat on themselves, which made sense.
Right.
Since Kenny Omega is still one of the VPs, he decided to make a match for Double or Nothing. And that match is going to be Anarchy at the Arena,
Ooh.
which will feature all 4 members of the Elite against FDR, Eddie Kingston, and Bryan Danielson.
Wow.
That should be fun.
Very.
And also we have Willow Nightingale defending the TBS Championship against Mercedes Moné in her very first AEW match. I have to say, Willow Nightingale is very good, not just in the ring, but her mic skills are really good too. That's one thing Mercedes has been getting heavily criticized for ever since she came to AEW, is her promo skills. Yeah, her promo skills are getting ripped apart by everyone. And I'll admit, that's not her strongest suit. And also, more than anything, just her character and her personality and how she comes off on TV, she's better as a heel. Way better as a heel.
I feel you.
the vibe between Widow Nightingale and Mercedes Moné is night and day, because it's kind of like the same thing between Drake and Kendrick. How like one is more authentic and more likable in that sense, but the other one is like all about superficial, toxic bullshit and kind of unpleasant, and it kind of makes you hard to be fans of them in some cases. So yeah, that's exact vibe I get from them.
Man.
But Mercedes is actually courtside at the Celtics game as we speak, because she mentioned that during her promo, and also she's going to be throwing the first pitch at the Red Sox game too.
Interesting, and that's funny though because as of right now, the Celtics are down by 15 against Cleveland, so we'll see how that goes.
Yes, we will. We will see how that goes. And yes, this card is shaping up to be solid. But before we get out of here, let's get into this Kendrick and Drake beef real fast.
Ooh, oh
I
Lord!
posted it last week online. And this comparison makes perfect sense. Drake would basically be the equivalent to Hulk Hogan, and Kendrick basically represents what 90% of wrestling fans and wrestlers think of Hulk Hogan.
Wow, just with the personal, you know, like just the personal backstory on Hogan and all that crap, and same similar with Drake. Because listen, I think out of all the diss songs that really touched deeply was Meet the Grams.
Yeah, I'll
Like
say.
he just went just after everybody, not just Drake, but his dad, his mom, his son, even the alleged other child that Drake has. That like, dude, it was just like, whoa, like, wait a minute, Drake has another kid. Like, what's going on, man?
Well, he didn't really go after them. He just wrote the verses like a letter to them saying
Not like go after him. He's kind of just like, let me put it this. Okay, let me put this in other terms. It wasn't the fact that he was going after him. He's kind of just like just exploding a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? That was the whole vibe I was getting from that song.
yeah, that's the one thing I said about that track. It was a character assassination, and that's what a good
Yeah.
diss should be. As somebody who's been doing disses for years with my best friends and other people, that's one thing I learned, is that when you're gonna diss somebody, you have to diss them to the point where they just say to themselves, "There is no way I can respond to this."
And you know what's the saddest part about that?
What?
Not Like Us, right? That is like the number one song in Toronto, Drake's hometown. That's sad. The person that you being dissed by in a rap beef, his song is number one in your own home city, bro. Dude.
I'll be honest, I haven't really been as big into Drake in a long time. I still think he's talented. I still think he's dope, but just his music, I just haven't really been as into the last few years. Like after a while, it started to become kind of repetitive and kind of like the same shit.
I mean, I've always been a Drake fan, you know what I mean? And look, this doesn't change how I feel about him. You know what I mean? I still love his music and all that. Look, his last like two albums weren't good.
His albums in general usually aren't that, mind blowing, except for, I guess, Take Care.
I mean, look. I mean, you got to remember. Like, I listen to him. I actually I listen to him. So there are.
So do I. I listen to him too, but just after a while, like his shit just became too repetitive for my taste.
I mean, there are a handful of albums I was like, okay, this was good, and there were some that I'm like, you know what I mean. But at the same time, the whole point I'm trying to make is that I don't. This is not going to like change how I feel about him. Oh, I don't, mess with Drake and blah 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 and all that stuff. I don't. The funny thing that I want to bring up that's outside of Kendrick and Drake is J. Cole, because you got to remember J. Cole wrote a diss song about Kendrick. Then later on, he takes the song off, saying how that was kind of like it wasn't a smart thing for him to do. So you kind of like J. Cole's looking from the back, looking from the outside, looking in, relieved, like, hey, thank God I backed out of this.
Yeah, I saw a picture of J. Cole like just laying on the beach with like cucumbers on his eyes, and you could definitely tell that he made the right choice. I was even saying that a few weeks ago. Yeah, because I remember when he first backed out, people were giving him a hard time about it and clowning him for what he did.
Oh man.
But in hindsight now, he made the right choice, because I was even saying a few weeks ago that while, this rap beef that we're watching right now is fun and it's entertaining, to be somebody who's a part of it and actually in it has to be super fucking stressful. And maybe J. Cole just wanted to save himself the trouble, and I can't hate him.
True. That is very true. And then you know what? I don't know, man. A part of me feels like, man, is this like really real, or are these two just doing it for the attention? You know what I mean? I know that sounds silly, but if you notice, Kurt, ever since this whole rap beef has been going on, hip hop has really been taking, you know, been under that spotlight again because, man, like you're not hearing none of this out of touch hip hop music for a while now, man. It's like Kendrick and Drake are back under the spotlight now. We're actually hearing some good music.
Yeah, and I'll hand it to Drake. Drake's done his thing, like on that Family Matters track, he killed it. Also on push-ups, he killed it. Yeah, Drake is definitely dope. I won't ever take that away from him, but like I said, like his music, I haven't really been as big on the last few years. And also he gives me that vibe of like, Kevin Durant, where like he's too sensitive and like whenever you say something about his music that you're not a fan of, he gets all defensive and gets all petty about it. Yeah, like that shit started to turn me off too. And also those stories about him like hooking up with other dudes' girls, even hooking up with Lil Wayne's girl when he was in prison. Bro, that shit is whack, man.
Wow, I never knew about that.
Yeah, I think Lil Wayne even referenced it on 6', 7'.
Wow.
Yeah, just things like that have just rubbed me the wrong way on the dude. And also like hearing these pedophile stories that are coming out about him now that Kendrick's been referring to. And there's actually some weight to that if you really look closely. Like there's different posts of like this one celebrity girl who was saying she was like finally just turned 18. And then Drake said, "I've been waiting," underneath the comment.
Damn.
And there was like this other clip of him like kissing like a girl at a concert who was like underage or who like just turned 18. There are a couple of examples of this where maybe there might be something to that. I don't know the guy, never hung out with him. I can't say for sure, but who knows?
There's no telling what else is going to happen, man, moving forward. But
it gives me a lot to talk about on my Shifting the Culture podcast, so I'm not complaining.
oh no, I'm not complaining about it either. It's hilarious because you would never think that something like this will happen. Because like, look, when we think about this generation of hip hop, right? Who is our big three? It's Drake, J. Cole, Kendrick. You know what I mean? Kind of like, later
Yes.
90s. Who was like the big three? Who was Pac, Biggie? Um, who could we put like number three?
I put Nas.
90s, yeah. And then 2000s is Jay-Z. I put DMX in there.
Eminem.
Yeah.
Goes without saying. Whether you like his music or not, Eminem was definitely one of the top dudes of that whole decade.
Mm-hmm.
Also Kanye you can throw in there too.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah. Cool thing about that, it was just like a whole lot of you just had everybody. Just you couldn't just name three. You know what I mean? Like you can't forget about 50 Cent either. You know what I mean? There's just so many, but it really just digressed over the years, and you really can't think of a whole lot of like good artists. Don't get me wrong, like you don't have to be completely mainstream to be a good artist. Like my current favorite rapper right now is Larry June. He's not really like a big mainstream guy, and that's okay, and I love that. You know what I mean? But it's just that it's kind of sad how sad hip hop has become now. You know what I mean? Before the whole rap beef thing, you know what I mean? I think last year I remember I was reading an article about how there was not one hip hop single or even an album that was on the Billboard 100 list.
Damn.
That's sad, man.
Honestly, one thing I have not liked about hip hop in the last few years is a lot of these modern female rappers.
I don't like that either. And I was reading your posts and talking about, and I think one of your friends commented about why the women and all that stuff. And
I explained it to her clearly where I just said, look, I'm happy that they're successful. I'm happy that they're making money and all that jazz. That's great. But their music content is not my cup of tea. And also, in addition to that, the majority of them are basically clones of each other. Like Sexy Red, Ice Spice, Glorilla, Lotto. Tell me most of them don't basically remind you of each other.
It's literally the same thing.
They all rap about the same thing too. That ratchet, ignorant bullshit. Yeah, all of them are pretty much the same image.
Right. And it's like, I don't like that. It's like, look, I want to hear a female rapper that's just rapping about real stuff. Just be true to yourself, man. Like Eve
Yeah.
and Queen Latifah and like just you don't have to.
Hey, but I'll say this: as far as the modern female rappers, the two I do fucks with are Nicki Minaj and also Doja Cat. As far as them as people, I can't really speak on that as much. But as far as their music, I
Right.
always give credit where it's due. But most of these other female rappers, yeah, I'm not a fan of their music at all. It's great that they're making money. I don't hate on them making money and being successful and being popular. But as far as like listening to their music, especially on a long car trip, hard pass.
I don't know, man. There's not a current female rapper that I'm not just not a fan of their music. I can't listen to it. It's like I miss how it was back then. Like I was literally listening to a Queen Latifah song, and I can guarantee you a lot of people will probably forget that Queen Latifah used to be a rapper.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And I was listening. Her music was just legit, just real. She wasn't talking about drugs and being ratchet and all that stuff. Like she was just hey, just rhyming and rapping, man. That's all I want to hear.
yeah, like back then it was more of like a healthy competition of like who's the better rapper, who's the better artist, who's the better
Thank you.
performer. But now it just seems like the competition is who can out ratchet the other one.
Thank you. And I think, if I'm being quite honest, man, I think the reason why most of the female rappers are like this is because they see the men doing it and they kind of like, oh, like it's okay for the men to do it. Like I want to do what they're doing
We don't
also.
like it when the men do it
Turn
either. That's the
off.
thing. We don't like it when the men do it.
I know that too, though. But it's like I don't like it either, though. But it's like I'm speaking towards the female rappers. Is like you don't have to do that. You think because they're doing it and it's like, well, I want to do it too. Like, no, I can't listen to that. And she's just like Sexy Red is just is a big turnoff. She's not pretty for one. She just I I just hurl every time I see her. You know what I mean? And it's just her music is just I don't know how people even like her music to begin with. Like, how can you like that stuff?
Rich Baby Daddy, I'll say this much. She was good on the hook. Her verse I wasn't a fan of, but she was good on the hook. But yeah, in general, like, yeah, I don't like her music. I'm not a fan of Ice Spice. Even Megan Thee Stallion, I respect her hustle, but her music's also not my cup of tea. And also with a lot of these girl rappers, it's not even just the fact that their music I'm not a fan of. Just them in general just come out very obnoxious, very annoying, very unlikable. Yeah, just all of it is a turn off for me.
Right. I just can't listen to it, man. It's like I don't even listen to the radio. I think the only time I listen to the radio is if I'm listening to like a sports talk show.
But I think we've given this enough attention. Let's get back
Other
into
than
Kendrick and Drake.
true,
Yeah, this
yeah,
is been one of the craziest beefs I've seen in years. But I'm hearing now that Drake might be
yeah.
dropping out of it because of some issue with sponsors. Like he doesn't want to take the chance of losing sponsors if this goes on longer.
Ooh,
It's gotten that deep.
ooh.
And also like Drake's mansion got shot up by a drive-by the other day, and like his security guard was hurt in that. He's in like in critical condition.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, this is what I was afraid would happen. I was hoping it wouldn't get to that point.
Yeah. First of all, how did this whole thing even started from the get go? Because I don't. I'm just like I thought these three had like respect for each other. You know what I mean? I thought it was just all everybody just stay in their lane. Good as they are. No issues between the three. But I don't know how it all started.
I think Drake mentioned Kendrick on a song, like on his most recent album a few months ago. And then when that song with Metro Boomin and Future dropped a few months ago, Kendrick had that one line, fuck the big three, it's just big me. And then it just went from there.
Mm.
And not just Kendrick going at Drake, everybody's going at Drake. Rick Ross, Future and Metro Boomin. Also Weeknd, him and Weeknd had issues, ASAP Rocky. Yeah, and the one thing about Drake, very few people have been coming to his defense. like Lil Wayne, Nicki Minaj, even 21 Savage. You don't really hear any of these people like, making songs to like back them up or defend him. None of that shit.
Wow.
So that's why I'm starting to think there might be something to like all these people dissing Drake. Like there might be something that he maybe did that pissed off a lot of people, and now they're coming for payback.
Mm-mm. Wow.
But I did make that comparison. I do stand by that. Is that like Kendrick kind of represents like the real, authentic hip hop that like we're fans of, and then Drake represents like the corporate machine hip hop, like the toxic bullshit lifestyle. Like that's kind of like what this battle feels like.
Mm. I know. I don't. Oh, we're gonna see how this one is gonna end, man. I don't know how this is gonna turn out. This is gonna be probably like the biggest music story of this year, and we're only in May.
Yeah, this whole year has been crazy so far with the Cat Williams interview,
Yeah.
the Usher Super Bowl performance, the Vince scandal, the fucking Vince scandal,
Yep.
the Nickelodeon documentary with that one dude who was like
Mm-hmm.
molesting the kids on set and doing all that bullshit. Also the Diddy stuff. Diddy stuff has been all over the place.
Yeah. How could you forget about that?
And now Kendrick and Drake. Yeah, the only thing I can ask is what's next.
I don't think anything else could top that. If I'm being quite honest with you,
Don't
but then
say
again,
that. Don't
I
say
can't
that.
speak. I don't know. I can't speak too soon, but man,
Maybe at the rate we're going, we'll have a miracle and a third party candidate will win the election this year. Yeah, what a joke. I can't believe for the second straight election they really gave us the same two options. That just solidifies how much of a clown show this whole thing is. Like, if nobody believed it was a clown show before, I sincerely hope they see it now. Because it is so
it
painfully
just
out.
shows you how much of it. It just shows you like as a country, like what I mean. We look at it, we look at ourselves and be like, man, what kind of country are we, man?
Maybe I should become a passport bro. Yeah, I know a lot of girls don't like that nowadays, but if some of the girls out here are that bad and that unbearable, then why the fuck not?
Right.
Yeah, because that's one thing with me nowadays. Like, I don't care how attractive a girl is or how business savvy a girl is and how successful she is. That stuff is all well and good. But if she has a horrible personality, horrible attitude, and no moral compass at all, I don't want any parts of her. None at all. I don't give a fuck.
Thank you. It's what's the saying? Quality over quantity, right?
Yeah, I don't care how bad of a chick you are. That shit is not enough.
Yeah, preach.
Yeah, if you're a poor communicator, you're unpleasant, disrespectful, always think the worst of everything and always think the worst of everyone, and just have like a draining ass negative energy around you, bro, I'm walking out the door. Yeah, that is the last thing I need in my life.
Yep. Is there anything else you want to get into?
Nah, I think we've spoken our piece for the night. I think we've definitely touched on everything we needed to touch on, and I think it is time to call it a wrap.
Yes. I am.
All right, so yes, enjoy the rest of these NBA playoffs and the NHL playoffs. Happy Mother's Day weekend to all the mothers out there. Looking forward to seeing where this King and Queen of the Ring tournament goes and where this crazy world of wrestling goes as well, because that's what we're here for, to talk about, break down everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and keep it tuned to us because we're going to be breaking y'all off with all that shit. So
That's right.
until next time, for the life of the party, John Randall, this is Conscious Kurt with another edition of the Clash of Champions. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And remember, don't be an asshole in real life or social media, because that shit
It's for the birds.
Have a good night, guys.